Welcome to today's Ask Me Anything session. We're going to be talking about the Hypersonic Cost Reduction Challenge. My name is Angela Austin, and I work for National Security Innovation Network, or NSIN. We are part of DIU, and our mission is to build networks of innovators that generate new solutions to national security problems. And I manage the challenge program at NSIN and execute challenges like these. Today, we're talking about the Hypersonic Cost Reduction Challenge, and we're doing this in partnership with the Naval Surface Warfare Center, Crane. And the objective here is to reduce the cost of the hypersonic glide bodies and associated sensors. With this challenge, we have a total of 100,000 available in awards to the top performers. And today's opportunity is to go through and discuss any of the questions you might have, go into more details on the technical features, and any of your questions can be fielded here. And so I want to welcome you all to participating as much as possible. And the way that you can do that is using the activities button. It's in the lower right corner. And you can start putting in questions now if you'd like. But in that triangle shaped button, you can go down to Q&A and start entering your questions there. And once we open it up for Q&A, I will go through and read those off, and our subject matter experts who are here today will field those. And so to start, I wanted to walk through some general challenge information and administrative things. So let's dive into that. So right here, I have the timeline. We have the solicitation period closing on June 6th, and then we will have a down select period that extends until the 13th of June. And at that point, that's when we'll announce the finalists who are invited to pitch. The pitch rehearsal will be on the 21st of June with the pitch event on the 24th, and then the winner or winners will be announced on the 1st of July after the pitch event. For your pitch deck submission, this is required, and these are the format or the details of that submission that are required. Criteria is listed here. There are 5 different categories, and this is also on the Ideas Scale campaign page. These are the general areas where you will receive scores. And for the pitch day, this is a virtual event, and you'll be dialing in, and we'll go through a 5-minute Q&A period, or I'm sorry, a 5-minute pitch followed by a 5-minute Q&A period with the judging panel. This is a public facing event, and the criteria for this event is the same as the criteria that I just had listed. And this problem statement here is what's posted on the Ideas Scale page. I'm not going to read through it, but just for reference, some of those details in case you want to look through. And then also I'll leave up our technical features list in case it might help generate some of your questions for the subject matter experts. And with that, I would like to introduce Ron Shaw. He is here as one of our subject matter experts for this challenge. And Ron, we're thrilled to have you here. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So my name is Ron. I'm a senior program analyst at NSWC Crane. I've been supporting this effort for about 5 years. As Angela mentioned, this effort supports the Navy and the DoD's portfolio of hypersonic systems. What we work on in that environment, it's all critical and classified information and distro F. If you're not familiar with those, that's okay. But what that does mean is that there are things that we can't talk about related to the program. So to start off, hypersonic means it's Mach 5 or above, which is 4,000 miles an hour or above. And that is really a good place to start because it describes a fairly challenging environment that the system has to operate in, and a lot of the technical features are really based around how do we make affordable systems that can operate in that. Wei Hong, do you want to go into detail on some of the particulars around the hypersonic environment before we get into our challenge areas?
Yeah. I'm Wei Hong Tai. I am one of the senior modeling and simulation engineers working at NSWC Crane supporting Navy Hypersonic. I've been working on the effort for about 3.5 years now, and been exposed to a lot of different areas. But the thing that really makes the hypersonic regime very complicated is that at about Mach 5, a lot of different things start happening simultaneously. That's about the speed at which the temperatures get to the point where the air is actively breaking down. And at those temperatures, you're also going to be experiencing a lot of stress and heat that you can't easily address through traditional methods you'd take care of at the supersonic level. You'd have to resort to methods like ablation, and you'd also have to be very creative about trying to manage the overall heat. Simultaneously, you've got an additional plasma layer that you have to work with in either in terms of sensors or the exterior of the body, and you have to handle very many different things simultaneously just because of how much that's going on. And at the speeds that hypersonics starts flying in, you're starting to look at things like turn radii on the order of several miles. Since you're moving so fast, you cover so much ground in so short of a time that a lot of the maneuvers you're making are very large in terms of the overall trajectory. But this is caused by very small changes because with how much stress the vehicle's going through, you can't, for instance, deflect very far. There's a lot of different things that start impacting each other, which makes the entire environment a lot more complicated to work around. I'll pass it back around.
Yeah, thanks, Wei Hong. So with that, as we look at the technical features list, as you can see, there are 8, but these 8 features really address, you can kind of bin these into 3 problem areas for the DoD and the Navy hypersonic programs. Overall manufacturability, that's kind of the theme of this NSIN challenge. A lot of the subsystems that we use are expensive and difficult to manufacture because of the very unique environmental requirements that Wei Hong alluded to. And it really comes down to how do you operate in the high heat of the environment. That gets into, as you see, novel materials, thermal protection systems. It's also derived to number 8, control surfaces, and number 5, flight control mechanisms. The other area that we want to address through manufacturability is how do we maintain accuracy? Right now, the systems within the hypersonic portfolio really use 2 primary navigation inputs. It's inertial navigation unit, or inertial measurement unit, and GPS. And we're looking for, ways to augment those systems, either by improving their core capability or adding other systems that can augment the overall flight computer calculations to maintain accuracy. So as you look at and that gets into number 2, integrated systems. Number 3, communication, as it's seen on this list, is really meant to increase accuracy for the system. Antennas kind of gets into both the systems that can operate in the high heat of the hypersonic environment, but that is also related to improving accuracy in that how we can communicate with the system while it's in flight, and then the other things that it can interface with to aid in accuracy. Wei Hong, is there anything you want to add?
I have nothing else to add.
So Angela, I know that's, yeah, we could talk forever, but I think that this is supposed to be a Q&A. So with that, why don't we open it up to questions and see what sort of things that we can address for them.
Sounds great. I don't see any questions in the Q&A tool yet, so please feel free to raise your hand if you have a question, and we'll call on you from there. Mr. Russell, please go ahead.
Hi, folks. Thanks for the opportunity. My name is Rob Russell. I'm with Nova Limited. Could you please provide, where you can, some additional insight on the antenna system itself? What sort of functions specifically are you looking for? the frequency, the bandwidth, the aperture size, any particulars that you can provide at this time would be very, very helpful. Thank you.
Well, I don't know if we can talk about the frequency ranges.
Yeah, a lot of the antenna specifics, I don't think we're cleared to release right now.
We can certainly take that as an issue and get back to you. I don't know how that process works, Angela, but if Russell can post that question in the Q&A so we have something to look at, we can certainly try to address it as a follow-up.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Yeah,
Mr.
I was just going to say as a follow-up, I'd appreciate that. I'll put it in the in-call messages because it's specific to how we approach the problem, how we resolve it. We've got low swap antenna systems that are directly relevant to the particular systems that you're alluding to today at low cost. But of course, we don't want to propose something that's not in sync with your specifications.
Understandable. I mean, that is one of the ways to address the overall issue with cost. Try to duplicate the same capability with lower swap or lower cost overall.
Thank you.
Thank you. And if
Go ahead.
And just for anybody listening right now, if you are not sure on how to put your question in the box, if you look in the lower right-hand corner, there's some shapes in the shape of a triangle. If you click on that button, it's the activities button. You can scroll down to Q&A and put your question in that way. You can do it without listing your name if you choose, or you can add your name. Mr. Russell, if you're able to do that so we can capture this important question and follow up, that'd be great. And then I will move on to the next question. Will the charts be distributed to anyone besides Navy Crane?
Yeah, let's see, no. Yeah, so we support the Navy Program Office. We also interface with the OSD Hypersonic Development Effort, or called JHTO. Whatever submissions we get are going to be shared with both of those agencies, but they are both within the government ecosystem. So even though Crane is the point for this, we do interface with those other entities in the Navy and the DoD, and even in the Army ecosystem for hypersonics, and they will see these charts as well.
Great, thank you. Can one organization submit more than one pitch? I can answer that one. Yes, you can submit more than one submission, given they are different submissions. So if you're submitting two different pitch decks, but the same proposal, the same solution to the problem, then we would just ask, which one do you want us to use? Does that answer your question, Mr. Moylan?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I don't see any others in the Q&A box. So please feel free to raise your hand or put something in the Q&A function if you have a question. Is Navy Crane the primary entity making the decision?
I believe it is a combination. This is Ron. I believe that the selection panel is made up of government employees from NSWC Crane and the Navy Program Office in DC. I believe there's one or two members from there. So it is not exclusively NSWC Crane. It is exclusively government.
Thank you. Okay, what other questions do we have? Please feel free to raise your hand if you'd like. While we have a momentary break in questions, Ron or Weihai, was there anything you wanted to emphasize or more specifically discuss?
Yeah, I've got something I can discuss. A lot of the manufacturing, based on experience, and I think that's applied broadly across many different industries, but a lot of the cost has come from the amount of time it takes to actually create some of the complicated technologies or materials. I know, at least with thermal protection systems, a lot of driving cost has been the cost of carbon fiber itself, as well as the methods to actually create the weaves necessary to have sufficient strength in the composite. So ways that can reduce the amount of time required to actually prepare those materials, or to reduce the amount of hands-on touch time. Things like automating processes that used to be done by hand in the factory. Those would be good ways to reduce the overall cost of different technologies, and those would be good opportunities to take advantage of. Over.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. The next question says, just to clarify, does only a PowerPoint deck need to be submitted or a white paper too? So for this one, we have the pitch deck as an attachment in the submission form, and then within the submission form, it will capture a good amount of other information, but a white paper is not part of that. The next question, hi folks, for the antenna systems, what specs are relevant or required? Functions, frequencies, bandwidth, gain, resolution, aperture size, power, weight, etc. What is the actual platform, target cost, modular or scalable, UWB, any additional considerations? I can break those up into separate questions if you'd like.
Angela, that was from me, Rob, just to follow up.
Oh, okay, that's the one you want us to get back to you on.
Thank you.
Sure, no problem. The next question, does commercialization need to be outside of DoD, or would use by primes be acceptable? I'm not clear if you're saying you're applying as a prime, and would that be acceptable per the eligibility criteria?
No, you have a commercialization requirement. So if you develop a technology that the primes may incorporate on a system, is that considered commercialization content, or does it have to be, like putting it in Walmart or something?
It just means that we're looking for things that are dual use, that are applicable out in industry and also within the DoD. So there's no requirement that a prime is using it. Does that answer your question?
No, I was wondering if a prime could use it and you could sell the technology to a prime, that would be like under a SIVR, that could be commercialization. But if it has to be specifically a non-DoD application, you're kind of like looking probably to a SpaceX or something like that, I guess, right? For hypersonic technologies.
And you're talking post this event if you were to sell it to a prime?
Yeah, I mean, part of your requirements, you have technical team, there's a commercialization section there.
And that's
I'm
just to confirm dual use application, that it can be applied to both out there in industry and also within the DoD. So there's no stipulation on whether you were to sell this technology to a prime following or anything like that. It's just, we want to see something that can be used in both places. And that was, it didn't mean anything more specific than that, just dual use mainly.
Okay.
In fact, the opposite situations occurred where people have repurposed existing commercial technology they have for hypersonic. Given the new environment, they have to go through a different set of tests to accredit it for the weapon system. But it is goal to use some of the existing technology so we can field faster.
Thank you. I don't see any other questions in the Q&A feature at the moment. Do we have anyone who wants to raise their hand and ask a question or any input from the SMEs?
Hi, this is Kyle Lanham from Corbett Technologies. One question on the pitch decks themselves. Can those pitch decks include CUI data?
No, because all of this information, so the pitch event is where you will present that slide deck, and that is public facing. So you'll want to keep anything that is specific to your company that you don't want to share, and any classified information, anything like that, not included in those, because it all needs to be public facing.
Public facing meaning it would have to be distro A.
Yes, because it will be live streamed during the pitch event and anybody can attend to view.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
You're welcome. Please go ahead, Mr. Moylan.
Is the pitch event going to be just pitching to the government reviewers, or is it pitching to a wider audience?
Wider audience.
Okay, so anybody who wants to be there can see the different topics there. So no proprietary stuff.
Correct.
Okay.
Can I elaborate just on one topic really quickly?
Yes, please go ahead, Megan.
Hi, yes, thank you. So there is one section, the submission form, that specifically asks how your technology will address the problem. That field is private and is only going to be seen by and will not be presented in any forum or manner. So that is an opportunity for you to expand on anything you aren't comfortable including in a presentation.
Thank you. That's a really good point. Thanks, Megan. Any other questions?
Jumping in here for clarification from Megan, is that all in written documentation, that section she's referring to? Or is there opportunity for FaceTime for these companies and solution providers to talk with the government review panel?
That's written in the submission form. So we do not have an opportunity for them to meet individually. But if there's proprietary information that the companies would like to share with the mission partner subject matter experts, then they can do it in the submission form in that section.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome.
Just a quick basic question. So for example, if we have a way to address several items on the technical features list, should those be separate pitches or can those be combined?
If you think it warrants a separate proposal, a separate solution, proposed solution to the problem, then you could submit two separate ones. If it's the same proposal, but just different information, it's up to you how your company wants to submit it. But if they're the same proposal, we'll just ask you to pick one of the separate submissions if it's the same proposal everywhere else, but a separate pitch deck. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. I also see another question. Let me get to it. We have a way to address several items on the features list. Oh, I'm sorry, was that you who
That was
just raised
me,
your
yeah,
hand?
thank you.
Okay, no problem. And another one, I'm joining late. Will the answers to these questions be posted anywhere, transcribed? And will the slide deck be sent out? To answer your question, this is being recorded. The recording will be posted in IdeaScale about a week following this event. And any questions that were not answered during this call or this AMA session, we will follow up and add them to the Q&A forum in IdeaScale. And if you're not sure where that is, if you go to the campaign page for this challenge and you look at the top, they're in the first section there on the campaign page, it will have a link to the Q&A forum. And if you click on that link and go there, you can ask questions there. And you will also see these questions that went unanswered because we needed to follow up and get a better answer for you. They will be posted on there as well. Do we have any other questions? Any other details that you wanted to elaborate on, Ron or Weihai?
This is Ron. I don't have anything further. Wei Hung, do you have anything?
I don't have anything else to add.
Okay. Well, I will give it a few more minutes here to see if we have any other questions. Please feel free to add them into the activities button. Okay, I don't see any other questions in the chat or in the Q&A feature. So I just want to do a last call. If you'd like to discuss anything, please raise your hand. If you have any issues with IdeaScale or any challenge related questions, you can reach out to us at challenges@nsin.mil, and that's in the chat box right now. Let me see here. I think we have one more question. Let me see. Okay, next question was, is this mostly just a way to define or propose novel concepts with a roadmap figured out to integrate this into a hypersonic system?
Yeah, Wei Hung, can you see that question in the chat box, or are you only on your phone?
I'm only on my phone right now.
Yeah,
You want me
so
to
I'll
read it
take
again?
I'll take a stab at this. So I think that your characterization, who is this anonymous, by the way? Who asked this question? Sorry, I didn't get that. Well, I think that this is correct. This is more of a roadmap. You know, we are still a good deal away from the actual hypersonic system. We're looking for concepts and white papers that have merit, and then as the pitch deck outlines in the timeline, you know, from here you'll submit your proposals. Will be a down select, and we go into the pitch event, and then the winners beyond that would do more development. But you know, to say at what point this would be actually introduced into the hypersonic system, it depends upon how development would occur of the particular technology or process being proposed, and then the value added to the weapon system. So, I think that your characterization is correct, and that the level of funding is, with each gating event that occurs, funding decisions will be made based upon its utility.
Thank you. And just to clarify, the prize award has no strings attached. And the reason we do these challenges is because they meet the competitive process requirements. So then following a challenge like this, the mission partner organization that we're working with to help find solutions to this problem could then, if they had the ability and chose to do so, they could sole source select because the competitive process has already been met. So that is a possibility, but not a certain action that is a follow-on, just to clarify. Do you have any other questions? Okay, I don't hear anything and I don't see anything in the chats. So Ron or Wei Hong, do you have any closing remarks before we go?
This is
Thanks,
Ron.
everybody.
Go ahead, Wei.
Thanks. Thanks everybody for hopping on the call and asking questions. Glad to see that there's a lot of people who are interested in trying to solve this very important question of cost for hypersonic. I'd love to see how far some of these go. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you want to say
Yeah, this
anything?
is
Lynn?
Ron. No, I look forward to the submissions and appreciate everyone's participation. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks so much everyone for attending. Please feel free to reach out to us at challenges@nsin.mil if you have any questions. Otherwise, we hope to see your proposals. Thank you so much.